Hello everybody, it's 2FAST2MOVIE. I'm your host Abraham, and with me is my co-host Ben, and today we're talking about Attack on Titan Season 1, Episodes 2 and 3, titled That Day, The Fall of Shiganshina Part 2, and Dim Light Amid Despair, Humanity's Comeback Part 1. Before we begin, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And once again, thank you so much to our commenters who suggested that we do this rewatch. You guys are the reason we're doing all of this, so let us know your thoughts on the episode down in those comments below. And finally, spoilers ahead for all of Attack on Titan, because this is a rewatch. We've already seen the whole show.
Yep.
So we're just coming back in time for Season 4, Part 2, so be warned. I saw what you did over there.
I was wondering. I don't know if you covered it up in the post.
Nope, I saw it. It's going to go in the cut, and I just had to get through the read before I...
Okay, gotcha. I was like, what's so funny, Abraham?
You did it.
Hey, man, sometimes you just got to bean dip yourself. It's fine.
Okay. But look, we're coming back off of, coming off of Season 1, Episode 1. Colossal Titan just appeared. Aaron's mom got ate. And yeah, like we're getting just more shit, and because we're covering 2 episodes, there's going to be a little bit more to talk about than in the first episode.
Yeah.
So I say we just jump right into the episode.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to give a quick description. So as the evacuation of Shiganshina continues, tensions begin to rise in the inner walls. With food shortages and a mass purge of the population, our main characters decide to enlist in the military with the goal of reclaiming their lost home and eradicating the Titans. As training commences, we meet many of the characters we will see throughout the show. And after many months, Eren and the rest of his friends finish their training and are finally ready to serve. That's pretty much what happens in these 2 episodes.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because after a violent ending to the first episode, it's funny how like the next 2 are, the second one's more dark just because of the mass purge. But the third one is very light, actually, just because we're meeting all these new people. They're teenagers in training.
Well, the second one, you have to remember that it still starts out with some of the fall of Shiganshina.
Yeah, people get
eaten.
Yeah,
it's not a pleasant episode to watch at all. It follows through. I know that at the time, I believe it was not a double. I don't believe it was a double aired pilot.
No,
I believe this came out the week after. This show has such an interesting place in like anime history as well, because it's the reason why Crunchyroll did so well, because it was one of the first major simulcast productions that ever actually both aired in Japan and then on Crunchyroll at the same time.
Yeah.
So like, fucking it, just opening up on everything here.
It really paved the way for the anime discourse, or the anime like release and the.
It made Crunchyroll what it was, and it made it so that we had a sort of legitimate, albeit you had to pay for it, way of watching anime that wasn't us going to like everyone knows the dreaded Kiss Anime or Kiss Cartoon.
Yep, those pop-ups, man.
Yeah, the fucking it was like the first time that like I could go watch an anime and not risk viruses on my computer.
Right. So yeah, thank you so much, Attack on Titan, for all that you've done for really paving the way for all animes since its release, really.
Well, yeah, and again, from a media standpoint, you have to credit this to Crunchyroll. You have to credit that to Crunchyroll as well. But it was a perfect storm, and it really allowed it. When this show first came out, it kept being called The Walking Dead of anime, well, you have to remember, back then, The Walking Dead was considered good. That's a really important point to talk about, because I will just say it for anyone that hasn't watched The Walking Dead, just don't do it. Don't.
There's only 2 endings. Either they all die or they all live.
Yeah, like there's zero reason for you to keep watching unless you thirst after the actors. And yes, I'm coming at you. You know exactly who you are.
Hey, let's not go ahead and lampoon our audience members who definitely aren't watching The Walking Dead. Let's go ahead and talk about the false history that's presented in the show, because they do drop the number 100 years ago. Titans appeared, and then humanity got wiped out, and then we built walls.
Yeah.
which is interesting because the 100-year timeline is exactly when King Fritz retreated, created the deal with the Tiber family. Like,
I'm always curious about the choice. So, again, 100 years is such a perfect number for this because 100 years is simultaneously a lot of time and no time at all.
Yeah. Well, a century, when you say a century, and also back then, I'm pretty sure life expectancy wasn't 50. Could have been well, no, I don't know.
No, because it's based off of the time era that you would have to go off of would actually be late 1800s, early 1900s.
For this?
Yes.
No, this is totally not late 18.
No, late 1800s, as in like 1890 at the earliest.
Oh, I think that's 1890 at the latest.
No, not with the. So by the time that. So here's the thing. By the time that we get to. So I'm talking about when the show is currently. I'm talking about when the show is currently
about, like,
set.
The world.
Yeah, I'm talking about when the world is currently set.
Sorry, I'm talking about the living conditions of Shiganshin.
Oh, you're talking about that. No, that's early 1800s.
Yeah, dude.
No, okay. Yeah, we're on two different things.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have to remember that there's the outside world with Marlene and that stuff, and that's basically at the point that would be in the 1930s, 1940s.
Industrial Revolution, the Reconstruction era.
Well, not just...
Well, actually, no, it is the Reconstruction era.
It's Reconstruction era, and it's well into the Reconstruction era. It's like we are past Industrial Revolution.
Yep.
Everything is actually technologically very advanced outside, but this is still 100 years in the past. Mm-hmm. So we're at the point where there's rifles and there's basic handguns and stuff, but automatic weapons haven't been figured out. You don't really have steam trains or anything. It hasn't been modernized at all.
Of course.
So...
it's funny, like a plane never flew over Paradise.
Well, no, I feel
all that time.
It's kind of fun. That's a good point because there's one spot that you're kind of safe from just Titans in general.
Wait, no, there's no plane. I forgot. There's no planes.
Not until the end of
season 4.
Season 4.
The Osmobitos created the first one.
Yeah, they create the first aircraft.
Damn.
Well, no, there's blimps. There's blimps. They never. Yeah, that's a good point. They never surveyed the territory before they fucking.
I guess they were really afraid of the.
They have to. Well, that was the whole. That was the whole lie that King Fritz told the outside world as well. Because King Fritz is responsible for 2 lies: the general false history that all Eldians live under inside the walls.
Yep.
And then the false threat.
Yeah.
To the outside world.
Which is just a bad way of handling it. But regardless. It is the way it is. That's the reason why people are so, paranoid about speaking the truth and talking about the outside world. It's probably why people don't like the Scouts, because they're content with their lives and
You mean the garrison?
No, the Scouts.
I don't think the Scouts. Oh, you mean
the
people inside the walls don't like the Scouts because they're content with their lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because of the narrative that's been told to everyone.
Yeah. The Titans haven't come in 100 years. And yeah, honestly, when you put it that way, like I was saying this in the beginning, but 100 years is the perfect time frame because for the world that's advanced outside, there's probably there's a chance that you're just one generation away from knowing someone that lived through the Eldians' Titan warfare.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's all that you need is just one 80-year-old grandma who just who had parents in that time who had seen the outright suffering of it. Mm-hmm. But for the people inside the wall, if they're living at early 1800s life expectancy, then they're cycling through.
And I remember there was what's his name?
Grisha.
Grisha was a doctor who saved everyone from a plague.
And we can now deduce that it has to do with the fact that he knows fucking modern medicine.
Oh yeah, that's the only reason. He probably had penicillin. He's like, you guys don't wash your hands. What the fuck? That's literally the only reason why Grisha is as successful of a doctor as he is.
He had to keep it on the DL. He's just like, fuck, I gotta vaccinate these kids. Yeah. Vaccinate.
Which is also, speaking of Grisha, it's also crazy because in the first episode we get that, I'll show you what's in the basement, and then he dips. In this episode, there's one scene where Grisha is like, He's racing back on a horse, and he's like, I gotta go. I gotta make sure they're okay.
Yeah.
He went and reclaimed the Founding Titan the night that the walls fell.
Yep.
That's why he was like,
I have to do this right now. Mm-hmm. And then immediately hit the Founding Titan in his ton.
And that's a perfect way to scout, too. Because he was going and he was helping the rich folks in the interior.
Yeah.
And was probably doing what Annie and Reiner were doing. Just like...
he had years ahead of them.
Not many. I mean, he probably only had like...
He had at
10 years.
He had at least.
Yeah.
I don't think he had Eren immediately, though. I think there was probably a little bit of time.
Probably like a year or two.
But the point is that he had about a decade in order to lay the groundwork for his plan. He probably didn't know that there was going to be an attack on...
No, he had no way of knowing that.
So he had to make a gut choice immediately in that moment to be like, I need to get the Founding Titan.
Which, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like, because... And obviously, this is not coming from a... Like, this is not a manga thing. I'm not trying to bait you. But, like, is there something more to that? Because, like, of... Like, just... Like, because we've seen, like, the whole cyclical thing and the past and everything. Is there something more to that?
I mean, there's a lot of questions.
He chose
to do that. I mean, I had minor things spoiled for me that I definitely would have input, and I will say that there's definitely, I think there's potential there for, I'm just going to call it the, God damn it, I keep forgetting to ask for a refresher. What's the name of the stream of consciousness that they all share?
The Path.
The Path.
Yeah.
I think that there is some precedent for him being a Titan that's more in tune with his powers and then using the Path. I think that there could be reason for him to kind of let fate or the general consciousness of everyone that came before kind of guide him.
Yeah.
But, like... It's still just much more.
I don't know, also. Like, that's, like, something that I'm thinking about now. Like, how much of this is, like,
I feel like a lot of it was... The fact is that if Grisha does it when these kids sack the wall, it was reactionary.
True.
Like, he probably went into the interior, found out that the walls got sacked, went, fuck, I gotta do this now. Mm-hmm. Like, I was gonna wait and bide my time and make sure that I planned it out perfectly, but now I gotta rush it. Eat the Founding Titan and then give it to my fucking kids so that they don't come after me.
Because he was probably nearing the end of his limit anyways.
Yeah, he only had so many years.
Yeah, he like maybe stayed in the wall for a year, met Carla, got Eren. Eren was like 11.
It's a 13-year cycle, I think?
13 years.
Yeah, that's exactly... He probably had like maybe 2 years inside the wall before all that happened.
So his plan was probably eat the Founding Titan, tell Eren everything, and then
give Eren the Titan.
Yeah. And let him do it, but then all this fuck shit happened.
Yeah.
Let's talk about because there was one thing that I mentioned before, the food shortages and the purge.
Yes.
Pretty fucked up thing that happens. 250,000 people get sent out to reclaim the wall. And of course, like only like 300 people or something crazy like that come back.
Yeah.
Like it's 20% of the population
gone.
And we later learned that was done because of the food shortages. They didn't have enough food to do that, and so they sent out all these people.
Well, that was actually in the episode that they fully explain what it was for.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I think Armin is like...
Armin's giving you the commentary of it's just like, we need people to survey, and he was one of the people that goes out, but he's like, in reality, they couldn't feed everybody.
Yeah, of course.
There was just nothing to go around, so they had to off 20% of the population. Like,
it's just strange too, because we were just talking about the king in the last episode, and again,
this is the most king move to make.
But no, I'm talking about with the power that he has. This is another.
It's something that he could have override.
Of course.
Yeah, and well, you have to remember though, at that time. The king didn't have the Founding Titan.
You're right.
The king had no way of dealing with that. And
that's why all of this stuff happens.
Not only that, if they had been attacked and the king was in possession of the Founding Titan when the king found out, he would have just done what he said he was going to do and killed all the Eldians.
I don't think he would have killed all the Eldians. I think he might have done another mind wipe with everybody in the walls again. I think he probably would have been like, oh, these fucking other Titans came, I'm just gonna mind wipe these Titans.
Well, you have to
take their power probably, or do something crazy, and then drive the mindless Titans out. Well, because he can control them.
No, but you have to remember that the thing that the king said that he was going to do,
he would let them suffer.
He would let them suffer. And honestly, the other thing that you have to remember is the king in the walls that I'm forgetting his name, but the king in the walls at this time
of King Fritz. It's
not King.
I'm pretty sure it's Fritz. It's Rod Rice is the it's the family, but I think the person that's like has the purple eyes is always Fritz.
I'm not taught. Well, again, Fritz doesn't really exist at this point though, because the founding titan hasn't been. Yeah, the founding titan hasn't been passed. But the act like that is a secret that entire family knows.
Yeah,
and offing 20% of the population is just such that mindset move of like, we don't have the ability to completely own up for our sins right now and just fucking let everyone suffer.
Right.
But we can still off 20% of the population by feeding them to the Titans.
Yeah.
Like, it's so in line, and it's one of those things where you go back and you rewatch the show and you just can't help but go, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
they would do that.
It makes it like from a character standpoint and just like the logistics of their philosophy, if you can even call it that.
You can.
I mean, it's just a shitty one.
Well, the shitty thing is that it's arguably the same philosophy that Eren comes up with in season 4. The mass euthanization.
That's Zeke's plan.
It is Zeke's plan, but Eren totally adopts it in season 4.
Does he? Remember we talked about
that, but at least as far as what has been presented in season 4 so far, with the talk that is given to Armin and all of them, where he's explaining the euthanization plan and saying that he believes in it.
Yeah, like
it's the same exact mindset that King Fritz had.
This whole thing is like putting the blame on that 10,000 year long conflict that the Eldians did, which
it's the idea that the Eldians don't deserve to live.
Yeah, and like you can never atone for the sins of your ancestors in that capacity, which is just not true.
Yeah,
you have to reject that idea. Let's talk about my man, Keith Shadis. Because who the fuck knew that he was gonna be important fucking 2 seasons later? It's wild, right? Like
I was so.
And I remember they showed him in season 3 when Eren got those memories.
Yeah, and
we were all like, who the fuck is that guy? Well, because he had hair and he didn't have the eyes, and we were like, who the fuck is that guy?
Well, and then he comes back in season 4 and he gets fucking. That's a whole nother different thing. Poor Shadis. He didn't deserve that. But like his relationship to Eren's father and mother, the fact that he knew about all of that stuff.
He see?
He sees the transformation. He sees the entire thing go down with him. With Eren devouring his father.
Well, no, I think he was like, hey, I'm going to go take my son in the woods for a minute. And then lightning shoots up out of the sky, and then he's gone, and just Eren is there, and he's like, oh, that's weird. Put him back.
Oh, okay, well, he may have dodged that. But it's still, like...
He was
really close. He was the person that was closest to what is basically ground zero for the entire conspiracy.
Yes. It's
and he's the person that's like, fuck, Eren, you better fucking stand up in your fucking maneuver gear. Your father did not fucking die for this.
No, that's he broke it on purpose. Remember in season 3, they revealed that.
I thought Mikasa was the person that broke it.
No, in season 3, they show him like fucking with the screwdriver.
I forgot about that.
And then there's a flash to like Eren still standing for like a solid 10 seconds, and Keith is like, God damn. Like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
fuck.
Keith sabotaged it because he was like, I hate Grisha. Then Eren still stood up, even with the broken equipment, for like 10 seconds. And he was like, God damn it, I can't. Like, he's too...
Like, I have to respect this kid.
Because he was even... This whole time, he had an inferiority complex. He was always like, there are better people out there. Like, I'm not meant for greatness. Like, which is super sad because he devotes his entire life to the Scouts because... He wasn't with the person that he loved, Eren's mom. It's just a whole...
Like, I'm sorry, when this character was first put onto the manga panel,
Drill Sergeant, hi, nice to meet you, goodbye.
like,
You think it's gonna be just this guy?
nope,
It's
nope. Like again, watching this with my partner, and it's just like, this man's on the screen, and I'm just like uncontrollably like, I love this guy.
I love Pete Chetties.
I'm just like, I'm like containing I love this man, because otherwise you're like, this is not an important character.
Yeah, man, boy, how we were wrong. And when it comes back, it's so satisfying.
Chattis is the boy,
dude.
He's
it's unreal.
What a stud.
Last thing we should talk about. Let's talk about the Reiner and Berthold situation that happens, because I told you this, and I actually found this out on a rewatch. There's a moment where Eren is like, how did you guys get to, like, what happened to you guys? And, Eren tells them about the whole fall of the walls, the scary colossal titan, and they're talking to them.
Yeah.
Like, which is just a crazy mindfuck thing.
Yeah.
Dramatic irony that they don't know.
Yep.
And then Berthold tells the story of how they supposedly lost their home. And it's the story of the man that hung himself in season 4. So that means that Berthold and Reiner and Annie, like, witnessed that whole fuck shit go on. They were like, that man died, that was fucking crazy. We need a cover story when we join the military. And then they just lied to everyone and stole it.
Yeah. Well, they didn't really have much of a choice, and that's like, you have to keep in mind, it's a fucking miracle that these kids infiltrated, because they had actually no idea what the culture was.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're complete aliens to everything going on, and they're just like, oh, okay, this is the one person that has a story that will work for us as outsiders. Mm-hmm. And like, it's only later when the hey, didn't you guys all come from the same village? That shit starts cutting.
Connie's looking at the receipts like, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Something's wrong here.
Yeah. And it's like, they should have lied a little. They should have lied a little bit better. If I'm being honest.
They shouldn't have all been coming from the same spot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, guys. Don't tie. If you're all planning on infiltrating the government, first of all, don't be buddy-buddy with each other, because...
Well, they're not, to an extent.
Well, Reiner and Berthold are, like, just best buds and inseparable. Annie's like, fuck these guys. Mm-hmm. Like, I think there is definitely, and this happens later down the line, the idea, and this doesn't really hold up in my opinion, the idea that Berthold had a crush on Annie, which we don't actually see any sort of body language or anything that supports that in these opening episodes.
It's because Berthold's demeanor it's because of his demeanor. He's so quiet. It's because, like, we don't really have a lot of backstory on him, which is crazy because he's the fucking colossal titan. But that's what makes, I think, his character, honestly, the most compelling, is because you think the colossal titan is going to be this huge, like, this brooding figure that you cannot stop even when in human form. It's
just this nice, quiet dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, like, wild.
Quiet, sweet boy.
Yeah. They did, like...
responsible for many war crimes.
Yeah, of course, yes. But...
Okay, who is not responsible for war crimes at this point? I think it's...
I mean, in season 4, it's pretty much every main character. Because, like, I'm pretty sure...
No, I think Mikasa is the only one that
Nope.
No, she only fights combatants.
I mean, dude, what? That's not how that works. War crime isn't on a... Oh, it's fine. No, I'm with them, but I didn't do any of this. What? That's not how war crimes work.
I don't know. Guys, let us know how war crimes work in the comments. What's a war crime?
There was something that you said about Annie and, like, how she was like...
Yeah, I mean...
It's funny because when you're saying that, it makes sense why Annie hates Reiner.
Yeah!
It makes a lot of sense, actually. And Reiner's fucking, like, watching this back, Reiner's a piece of shit.
No, yeah, when you, like, know, the first time you watch it, you're like, man, I really like that guy. He's stoic, he reminds me a lot of Eren, he's charismatic, he's totally got your back no matter what.
Hey, I'm the Colossal, I'm the Armored, he's the Colossal. Yeah.
What? Well, not only that, the fucking, like, just the, like, knowing how he treated Annie right before all this.
Choked her out.
Yeah,
and
like...
said, like, and basically, I mean, obviously selfish reasons, but I don't fault his reasons, like, you know, wanting to be a hero because he was broken and lost everything in his life. Like, he basically was a kid who had nothing.
He was, but again, here's the thing. I understand why he did it. I don't think that it excuses it.
No,
Yeah. Like...
No. That's not what I'm saying. Empathy is different than sympathy.
Yeah.
I absolutely empathize with Reiner and his motivations. You cannot sympathize with the action.
Yeah.
But
That's a good way of putting how I feel a lot about
everyone.
All of these characters.
There's no heroes. They all suck because war isn't in combat and war, there are no heroes.
Yeah.
Like, even America, like in World War II, denied, Jewish, what's it called?
Jewish immigrants that were fleeing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, we can't say that we're the heroes in this story because we did fucked up things too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, also, like, you're citing America during World War II, and we completely neglected concentration camps of our own during that time.
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's just a pretty, like, it is World War II, but it also just speaks to just how war sucks. That's the tagline.
The thing that you have to remember is that the first bit of this is not it doesn't come off as war. Again,
No.
this is coming off as
hindsight.
Yeah, this is all hindsight, that this is like basically just a shadow war that's happening with fucking 3 children that are waging it against an entire country. That is absurd.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just the fact that, like, that burden is placed on their shoulders when they're not even the main characters, all the while.
Well, honestly, that's kind of my enjoyment of rewatching this.
It's because they're not main characters. They barely have, like, 5 lines in this first season.
I would say that...
for, like, each episode.
In each episode, I would say that they actually do have when you're rewatching it and you know what happens in the background, it's a fucking mindfuck.
Absolutely.
It's like, oh, every time they're not on screen, oh, that makes sense. And then watching them come and finish everything off and like joining forces with everyone during these fights, it's fucking bizarre.
Yeah. It's also, like I said this earlier, but Berthold asking Armin and Eren, why are you guys fighting the Titans if you know they're so scary? Which, from their perspective, they're
just trying to figure out
what the fuck is going on with this society of blade-wielding Spider-Man who kill, like, Titans. Because that's what they are. When you step back, I think I said this to you, in the manga, there is literally a panel where they acknowledge how fucking wild the scouts are.
Yep.
They're like, yeah, these fucking devils are just flying around and with swords.
These sword-wielding lunatics.
Yeah. It's just, but yeah, thinking about that conversation, and they're just trying to figure out the whole society, and also they're also trying to connect with Eren and Armin on a personal level because they're both child soldiers.
Yeah.
So it's just...
And you do see kind of like the fact, and we do need to wrap this up, but one of the most remarkable things about this is Annie's distance is the fact that she's not as foolish as Reiner and Berthold, and the fact that she's just like, we're in this now. I'm not going to let my emotions and attachments to these people compromise the mission.
Yeah.
Which, like, Annie's probably one of my favorite characters in the show just because of how fucking complex she is. And then, like, with the layers of season 4, I'm really excited to finish out watching this first season with all the knowledge of what her character actually is.
Yeah, that's going to be quite a time. But until that day, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of 2FAST2MOVIE. Let us know what you think of this episode in the comments section down below. And hey, let us know, what is a war crime? let us know that. Thank you guys so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing. Really helps us out. Until next time, it's 2FAST2MOVIE.
Hey, said it this time.
I did.
Wow.
Look at that. Easy.